Hello, disco people of the universe. 'Tis I, Klex, to talk to you about a very special day. Today, where I got a PB, a personal best in Dangun Feveron. So you can see all of my little records here. Got 9,000,005, not bad. And in March, something very peculiar had happened where I beat the game without dying, and so that allowed me to get to the true last boss, which gives you an unreasonable amount of points. But ever since that day, I couldn't quite get it, and today I got to the true last boss, which means no missing the entirety of Dangun Feveron for the second time, and while going through a lot of very, very aggressive strategies. So let's get started. We're gonna do a quick review of this, and honestly, I'll try and go for more specific terminology. By that point, I assume that you've seen a bunch of my videos, so yes, I will even call the missiles bombs, because that's what they're actually called. Not to be confused with bombers, or sometimes if I say I bombed, that probably means that I used the bomber, basically. But yeah, in the meantime, nothing too amazingly surprising in this. We'll not go for the many slowdowns or going back to like frame by frame analysis because I got this offline just an hour ago. The nerves have died down a bit and I'm not shaking as much as I was, but I had a hunch after the several marathons that I've been a part of where I won CC'd. I was like, I could probably do that if I'm not like on the spot, and I guess I wasn't wrong. I was aiming for 13 million for quite some time, and I'll explain where the 1,000,001 improvement comes from. But in the meantime, just a bunch of missiles point blanking the enemies from the top that allows you to get more enemies, basically. There are some glitches. There's a specific wave glitch that I couldn't quite get, but the section 2 of stage 1 was very, very good. And so I was already at like 420 something by that point, even though I missed a couple waves from sections 1 and 3. I almost died there. Actually, this was my second attempt of the evening. The first one, I think, had died at stage 3 or stage 2. Stage 2. I will tell you where I died, actually, the attempt before that one. And I did a little bit of practice after that, but most of my practice has been like preparing for the marathons to ensure 1cc, which did improve my consistency. Nice, okay, so that frame roll was respected. If you do, yeah, so that frame roll didn't work. Generally, the next ships either come like very fast or they come like somewhat slowly. And it's a frame roll, it's like taking the bus. The ships have missed the bus in one of the cases. I do want to get all the frame rules right so that I can, before the turret garden, get the main wave to advance as much as possible. Basically, caravan shooter things. It doesn't really change the game plan, but it does give you a hint of if you were fast enough or not fast enough. Probably a programming thing, but it is kind of nice to know like how well you can improve, and it is somewhat gratifying. I felt like I was a little late on my waves, yeah, so I kind of panicked, but that allowed me to kill the tank and then the turret ship. Because if the turret ship is there while the tank is here at the same time and I haven't killed the tank, sometimes my bombs will not reach the turret ship, and so the turret ship will fire, which will create a lot of panic, and I don't want that. So in that case, that little accident kind of worked somewhat well in my favor. And I could have gone for the bomb strat, the bomber strat. Yeah, that's tough. But I didn't want to use a bomb here. I don't think it was very relevant, and I do want to get all of my chances to like get to the true last boss. Those two sections were like insanely pristine. At that point, I don't even realize like to what extent that's the case. I'm realizing it right now because I'm like, Whoa, I'm still not seeing the trains. Like, what's happening? You know? And it's appearing only here, which allows me to farm this wave quite well. And I was even, like, on pace to get the next bonus ships, which would have given me 2 power-ups, e.g. 10 extra Disco Man. And we'll see. Yeah, you see, so the 4 ships that died at the very top were supposed to be a 5th one and then the 2 bonus ships. So I wasn't that far off, which is pretty outlandish in most of my runs, I will say. For the mini boss, it's the same thing. As this boss, it's the escort mission of the missiles. They do gain a lot of power as time goes on. And I try not to fire too much on the right turret. I know the world record does it like way more aggressively. They might actually get one extra, like couple extra Disco Man in this, because some of those parts actually start losing Disco Man, much like any of the other enemies in the game. But I don't really care. I realized I shot the 3 bombs like very early, so I had to wait a little bit. It allowed me to kill the boss at that point, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. Up until that point, all of the strats were pretty much like similar to the world records. So I'm 2,028,000, which is definitely on pace. But this is the first instance where we're going to see a significant difference, which is this. That's the bug that freezes the main wave for, I think, about 20 seconds. That allows me to cook the secondary wave that is scripted. Those ships give out a lot of Disco Man. And the world record doesn't care. They just like destroy everything at the same time, and they can guarantee that those meatballs still give out a significant amount of Disco Man, which I'm pretty puzzled about. But here I almost died. Actually, I forgot to throw 3 bombs at the platform ship, which I normally do. And here, do I get the bug? Yes, I did. So this platform, if you kill it fast enough, the main wave is temporarily halted, which is good. I did cook these relatively right, but at that point, I am slightly behind, like in terms of Disco Man compared to the world record, for example. And if you're slightly behind, you'll start bleeding out score, basically. So this is the part where I start losing points compared to an ideal position, which is the world record. I do this. So the main thing is, like, you don't want to trigger the bug, because those main waves, they're waves of enemies that come out like really quickly. It's basically a bunch of peanuts, especially the 6-packs. Those ones, you really want to have them. I didn't do that bad of a job at all. I even considered dropping a bomb to the left side to farm the turrets, because they do give out a lot of points if you use the bomb strat. And I eventually decided otherwise, because I wanted to guarantee true last bosses like almost on command, which obviously isn't ideal. What I mean to say is, like, as regularly as possible. So I thought I might need the bomb. I'm not gonna throw it. I'm not gonna use the bomber. I do want to be a bit safer. Although, you will see, with all the panic, I'm actually picking up this bomber. And you see, I went from 4 bombs to 4. And that is really bad, because that's only a +5 bonus. At that point, it's just like about 5k. But at the side, I could have gotten like about 10 times that. And it can also save my head. There's so many uses of the bomber that you just don't want to get. Like, you don't want to get the Disco Man bonus. I almost died here, but I learned to have more aggressive strats, kind of inspired by the world record, where I get a lot closer. That ensures that the left side dies somewhat early, and that's really what I want, because I don't want the random pattern with the turrets where they go and then they start shooting at you, and then they go full random. And I had the extra bomb, so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Actually, I think there was a way to make sure that it wouldn't even fire. My, I don't know, my bomb spamming probably wasn't ideal. But I generally, like, hold full auto, and then I do good timing with the holding the shot for just long enough that a bomb comes out, and then I release and I push shot again, which is very useful because that allows me to trigger shot back up while the next bomb is charging, and that is very important. Here I'm panicking, understandably so. I don't think I've come close to that. I think most of my attempts, especially since I was doing no reset runs for marathons, was like stage 2 or stage 3. So this is a part, especially while having 4 bombs, which, you know, was a bit unnerving, to say the least. And this part, so I'm like this, and then left, and then right, and I think then the center comes, and I miss a ray ship, and I panic completely, so I use a bomb to get myself out of this tricky situation. I feel behind on all of the waves. Also, that's because one of the ray ship lived for long enough that all of the frame rolls are completely wrong. The main wave is absolutely not where I've trained myself to see them. So I'm missing one. So now I have to fight the ships that come from the right side, even though I was supposed to fight the center ray ships, and now the left ray ships when I was supposed to fight the right ones. And I'm not feeling great. I know that I can go back to a reasonable spot, but I don't even want to try being at the center of this thing, by the way. I don't even want to try it. And there's not even a need to do that. You can just stay to the side and point blank it. I considered dropping a bomb, but I was fine eventually. The bomb strat really did work somewhat well. Also, let me know in the comments if you like the term bomb as opposed to missiles. Even though it's accurate, it's a complete nightmare right now, and I'm realizing how much of a mistake that is. But anyways, this is the spectacular pattern. I kind of wanted to save it, so I used the smart bomber from the cave game design mechanics, and I have to fight these, but without the turrets it's significantly easier, even though that makes me lose a couple of enemy waves like these, and I even takes my sweet time, so I only farm one wave. Probably could have gotten 100, 200k more had I been very aggressive, but I really don't want to try it for stage 3. It's closer to 300 to 400k. But the scariest part is definitely this guy. Without roll, fudge, it's super tough. And actually, I don't even try it. I know it's been a remark sometimes. There's a pattern that I could probably make it out okay, but I really don't want to try it. I'm point blanking this guy just to make sure that this pattern is as short-lived as possible, and this one, I don't like it. I just don't. And obviously I wanted to maximize my chances. I have 3 bombs, so I use the second one, and I don't have to deal with any of this, and that's great, I have to say. Seeing the state of the score at that point, especially considering the fact that stage 4 could have gotten a lot more score. See the 6,000,003, 6,000,000 something, and I'm like, alright, lovely. This is on pace for at least the initial goal that I set myself, which was 13 million. Throw the bombs to the side. And screw it, I'm gonna call them missiles. I'm sorry, it's just too complicated, and I may be in need to use an actual bomb. Although in these cases, I do it somewhat well, even though I could have gotten a little better. I throw the missile here, yeah, to take care of that turret. I don't want it shooting anywhere near me or far away from me, I don't want it to shoot. I don't want it to exist. I don't want it to breathe. And these are... Yeah, I was super scared that I was gonna, like, die from collision to one of the bomber ships. What is wrong with me? Anyway, I throw a couple more missiles just to ensure that everything is right for this pattern. And then, I didn't quite realize, but that missile did serve a purpose after all. Wasn't the original goal. This one was kind of cautious. I did throw out bunch of missiles just to make sure that everything works out right. And breathing is important. So I do this. So this strat becomes trivial because I had a lot of time to prepare. And then missile, and it worked, even though I should have thrown out some missiles there. So I barely get those cyborgs. I should probably call them cyborgs now because that's the official term, right? I'm using bomb for the bombs. Anyway, so more missiles. This part is very spectacular, but it's like somewhat telegraphed. With missiles, it's like very trivial. I realize that I have 3 bombs, so I do this. You destroy the ship super fast, but you don't have the only disadvantage of the bomb, which is the disco mans cannot pop. But the bonus power-ups, bombs, etc., they still come out on the screen. So that's the only moment where you can use the bomb and have like 0 downside to it, because all of the potential points, all of the point sources are going to still come up, and I still end up with 4 bombers in stock. So that's the part where I'm like terrified. Honestly, it's like this is the part where I've already died once in that kind of pace. Ooh, that shot like really shaved my beard. And this part where I'm obviously like very, very stressed because yeah, those are the moments where that were my last moments basically when I played. And I didn't even want to try it. I think I was okay, but I just kept going to the right side. And in the future, I may actually need to be okay with it. I probably should have gone to the right side here again, although one of the missiles really did save my height. So again, you know the drill. Escort the missiles, basically the escort mission. They gain powerful up until this point. One of the blue shots could have killed me, actually. It was very close to me at the very, very beginning. And then I have this, which is a nightmare because it started on the right side and then it ended up on the left side. And in the meantime, the sides, like, they do regenerate if there is a side switch. I almost died. Yeah, this part is really, like, I behave like a wild animal. I use the 3 missiles, so normally I've been practicing the fact that I shouldn't use the bomb, but there is one attack that I do not want to fight. It's the pink that goes crazy, and I also do not want the side turrets. Although I've been working on a strat where I can use the missiles somewhat well in such a way that this pattern will come up, but I don't use a bomber, which is great because that's basically this, but with potentially 200k extra because I haven't used a bomb. This part where the boss just took its sweet time to fire, and its sweet time, I quantify that at about 3 frames, which was enough to give me a heart attack. And then this, which I don't want to fight, so I'm not even gonna try it. And I went, all in all, very safe, just to ensure to have that no-miss final clear of Dangun Feveron. So, if you no-miss the game, you might seem you're pretty good at the game, but you also gain a metric crap ton of points because they didn't playtest the final boss properly. I think there's a lot of arguments that could be made that they could have playtested getting to the final boss from boss 5, and in the end, probably for multiple valid reasons, they didn't. They forgot to take away the invincibility. This is a nightmare, by the way. I took speed 4, The world record uses speed 3 allegedly for a boss 5 pattern. I'm not exactly sure. From what I read of the video, it says that at the final pattern, the patterns get easier. I probably misread that or misinterpreted that. It wasn't Japanese, but yeah, those patterns are the real deal, and I cannot even fathom completing this without using bombs. But yeah, that's Dangun Feveron. Admiral Gretze is dead. Or, well, we'll say defeated. We'll say defeated. The power of disco prevails. And, yeah, the main game was 9,000,004. Was it 9,000,004? 8,000,004. Well, yeah, 9,000,004 if we take into account the boss of stage 5. So, in the end, the true last boss is 1,000,000, and each extra life is 1,000,000. So, that's 13.4. A lot of time was gained from the previous PB attempt. From stage 3, actually, where I didn't use the bug as many times as now, as before. And that is insane. Like, I explained that, you know, it's peanuts and it's a lot of Disco Man, and I was already bleeding on points compared to the world record. In this case, that's just a lot more. And so, yeah, in the end, that was a sizable amount of points. Next stop, well, first of all, I need to write my name. Psych. I'm gonna write STA, Spit Them All, for hosting me for the marathon. That was this previous weekend, and they've been nice to give me a spot. It was a lot of fun, and that put me in confidence to go to the next stages of Dangun, which is basically trying to have another true last boss or a no miss of Dangun Feveron. Those are basically almost the same thing. You want to know what's the best thing? Let's look in the leaderboards and see how well I'm doing. Yeah. 30,000 points. Remember at some point where I say I wasted a bomb because I got an extra bomb that was like pretty much useless? It was 5k, and I could have like used the bomb on the side turrets. Yeah, that would have been it. Or no bombing, like not using a bomb in one of the final boss patterns. So I guess the sky's the limit. By that point, anything is on the table. I would like to get to 14 millions, but obviously until that point, I would need to be a lot more consistent in getting to the last boss, and you know, without dying, without using too many bombs, trying to make it more of a regular thing, because so far it's only twice this year. I wanted to thank some of the staff this year who have been very kind to give me a chance. Shoot the Baguette, the mini marathon from Speed Them All, as well as Run Them All, which kind of sandwiched the other events. Shoot the Baguette, and then the encyclopedia of speedrun, l'encyclopédie du speedrun. All those people have been lovely, and they were a good excuse for me to keep practicing the game. So, you know, here I am right now with a silly wig, trying to make it look like I'm McCoy, and some other people. Yes, Lethe from Shmups System 11, who kept going. The Western record is not documented on the PS4 rankings. It's currently at 14,000,001, I believe, and that's quite a feat. It doesn't use the same ship type as I do, and it's a lot crazier, and it's a lot more aggressive because no bombing the final boss before the true last boss. That's something that yeah, still got ways to go. And thanks to pretty much all the people who have been around the shmup community. I hang around in Icarus's chat. Big shout outs to you, shout outs to Wearing Fin. Next stop, we'll say Alright, I said it. 14 million. Have a good one. Stay cool. Bye!